Hello everyone, and this video will be a part of a few other videos about our main display tank. So it's a kind of a continuation of the saga over this particular tank, which used to be my main display tank. And if you have followed my channel for a while, you probably remember that I used to have this tank as a shallow Rio Negro biotop setup with lots of tetras, corridors, and a lot of other tank. It used to be a black water system, and after a few months of trial and error, it has started to function well. And this is when it has started leaking, because this particular tank, which is a custom-made shallow tank, is actually a disaster. It was made by someone who apparently did not know how to make fish tanks, so the silicone work, all the seams are just absolutely horrible. The silicone looks ugly, and this tank had really horrible, huge braces all over its length and on its sides, absolutely unnecessary braces for such a shallow, and it's only 35 centimeters tall, and well, it's 3 feet high and 6 feet long. So yeah, there was no need for those braces. And when I started re-siliconing this tank after its leak, I removed the braces and I've added a fresh layer of silicone on that place which was leaking before. So in a way it was ready to go, and I was about to set it back as a shallow Rio Negro tank, which is what it used to be before. But then I had an idea, sort of a unexpected idea of how to turn this tank into something else. So the idea that I have is to remake this tank from a shallow, long and wide tank into a tall and long and narrow tank. So basically, what I want to do is I want to remove this glass here. I'll slice it open and I'll remove it. And instead I'll add a glass in here. I've ordered the glass already and it's in here. So it's basically the same size glass as here in the back. So this will be a tall and narrow tank instead of a long and shallow tank. So it will be a perfect angelfish setup. Some of you may be asking yourself and myself, why do I want to change this tank? Because it worked quite well as a shallow setup, and I mean, I love shallow tanks. And when I custom ordered this tank, I had a lot of hopes and expectations for it. Yes, it turned out a low quality product, but I did make it into something better. So I removed the braces. I've changed the silicone work on at least one part of the tank, of which I could do for the rest of the tank. But I also realized that there are quite a lot of limitations with a shallow tank like this in this particular apartment, which is a problem, first of all, of heating it up. This is a ground floor apartment, and it's close to a sea coast, so there's lots of wind in here, and it's actually quite hard to keep this entire space warm. We're keeping it at 20 degrees Celsius ambient temperature, but obviously to keep this tank with so much footprint as an open top tank, it takes a lot of energy. And when I kept this tank as an open top Rio Negro setup, which I had to be heated up to approximately 26-27 degrees Celsius, that was a lot of energy and a lot of heat loss, because you can see how wide this tank is, and basically all the heat that comes into the water column. At some point I added a lid to this to the system to keep it warm, but it looked quite ugly with the lid, because also I couldn't keep any riparian plants in a closed-in tank, and it just was not something that I enjoyed doing. So instead of setting up this tank again as a shallow system, I thought about using it as a tall tank with angelfish, maybe altums or some sort of a wild caught angelfish, which I used to keep before and which I'm quite missing right now. So I'm gonna give it a try. I don't know if that's going to end up in a disaster, because it's not only about siliconing this glass to here and removing this glass in here, but I also want to cut out braces out of this glass, because previously when this tank is a shallow tank, it's going to function fine without braces because there's not much pressure on the sides. But as soon as this side will be filled up with another glass, there will be a lot of pressure on the sides of this tank, so it will need some braces, and my idea is to cut at least 4 braces and to put them on the bottom of the tank, and 3 braces to add them to the top of the tank. So this glass will be kind of firmly controlled by those braces, and they will provide a degree of security to the system, and this glass will not just fall off because of all the excessive pressure. I've got all the glass cutting equipment in here. There is a glass cutter in here. I've got some oil lubricant, and theoretically I know how to cut glass, but I've never done it before, and I've never done it definitely on a 8mm glass, which is what it is. So we'll see how it's gonna turn out, and whether this is going to end up in a disaster with the side of this tank potentially falling off and all the fish kind of flooding our apartment, or this is going to be a successful and great looking project. The tank will eventually stand in this corner here, so I will get a stand for it, and the side here gets a lot of daylight, so lots of opportunities to grow plants, lots of opportunities to grow riparian plants, and should be reasonably fine to heat this tank to a required temperature, because I will probably cover it partly with something. So that's the plans, and this is only part 1 of this long saga of transforming this tank into something else. So if you're interested what's going to happen next, don't forget to subscribe, because you're going to watch all of this potentially disastrous project unfold very slowly, and the next step will be to cut this glass, to slice it open from the silicone, and to cut it into braces. So yes, I'll see you in further videos.